Welcome back to a new episode of the 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. I'm your host, Brian Hunter, and we have a very special guest host, our commissioner, Mr. Cameron Smith. Welcome back, buddy. How are you?
Hello. It's been a while since I've got the Cameron Smith introduction.
I've been calling everybody by full name lately when I do the
yeah, I get it. I mean, I went by that name for my 75% of my life until I started playing wiffle ball, and everyone's just like, "Oh, it's Cam." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever, run with it." But glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. For those watching and everything and those listening, Q wasn't able to make it tonight to be able to shoot with us here. So Cam was like, "Yo, I'm down. Let's go." So I was like, "Right on."
Get me back in front of a mic. I missed it a little bit. Miss all the good conversations. Obviously, don't have time to do it full time, and you guys are doing a hell of a job. So, happy to fill in when need be.
Right on. Appreciate it. This episode's airing obviously after Mother's Day, with Mother's Day being yesterday, all the craziness going around. We want to take some time and wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. So to you and yours, if you're watching, happy Mother's Day from the 3 Up, 3 Down podcast.
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend. I had both of my mother and my mother-in-law's birthdays on Saturday and Sunday as well. So what a crazy weekend it was.
That's nuts. Yeah, that only thing I did was we went out to brunch with my mom on Sunday, and that was about it.
Yeah, it's nice. My wife took a nap yesterday after we got home from brunch, and I had my hands full with the kids for a couple hours.
Wow, perfect. Hey, that she deserves. She deserves.
Absolutely.
But before we jump into it, first off, make sure you smash that like button and ring that bell. That way, for any time that anything Mo WIFF content hits, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, you can be alerted so you don't miss anything. As you can see, me and Cam are both rocking items off the merch store. So he's rocking the new Mo WIFF hat that's on there, plus the Under Armour hoodie. I'm rocking the little Thunderbird graphic tee here with the logo. So make sure you get into that merch store and get yourself some team merch.
Yep, going to have a post coming out this week about where you can find that. I'm sure most people listening already know, but I'm excited. We got a lot of good stuff on there. So we just keep rolling out different items in that store, which is great and bad for me.
Well, the worst part about it is a lot of it is you and me get collaborating on things. The next thing you know, you find it, and you put it on the store. So it's like somebody just needs to take away the ability for us to add stuff, and I think we'll be all right.
Exactly. But it's great. I love it. It's great stuff.
Right. So normal, our normal rundown and everything. We have our first segment. For today's first segment, what we're going to go over through, we're a third of the way through the season. We're through 6 weeks. So, obviously we play 17 weeks. So we're going to, just do it in thirds. We're going to go over standings, going to go over surprises, some different, players that are standing out, some things that are catching us a little off guard. Our second segment, we're going to be joined by our hitter and pitcher of the week. That's going to be a fun little time. And then obviously in that third segment, we're going to preview this coming up week 7 games, which is going to be a lot of fun because that kicks off with Thunderbirds versus Bombers. So me and Cam here, we're going to start the smack talk early, just a little bit.
But we got to. It's going to be fun.
But that being said, we'll hit the intro. So like we said, we're a third of the way through the season. So we're going to take a look at both divisions. We're going to start with our American League division here. As you can see, pretty much 1 through 4 right now, they're all separated by 1 game. Archers are on top of the board at 4-3. Mojo, 2-2. Just by percentages wise, the fact they've only played 4 games is the reason why they got that half. They're only a half game back there. But then the Kings and Mambas, they're tied at 3-4, only a game back. So it's crazy that all 4 of these teams are separated by 1 game right now.
Yeah, it's interesting too because if you looked at this division on paper to start the season, I don't think anyone really would have predicted exactly where this is at right now. This is
for sure
turned out to be it's going to be a dogfight for all 4 teams. I think for the entirety of the season. I mean, you look at games played. 3 of the teams have 7, and they all have 7 and 9 points. So Definitely, and a lot of close games. A lot of games going into extra innings or getting close. One-run games. Mojo off to a slow start, but had a huge bounce back week this past week. So, man, just I'm excited to not. I mean, not only both divisions, but this division especially with how close it's gotten.
Yeah, and I mean, this coming week, the Mojo play too. They're the only American League team on the slate for Week 7, so we're really going to get to see where the table sits when it's all said and done. So that they have that rain out game, or not rain out, that delayed game right now that's not
Yeah.
part of this. So I mean, pretty much every team would, for the most part, have played 7 games in that division. So that's going to be a real cool piece to see where they sit, in just a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have that 3-0 lead on that delayed game too, and maybe like an inning and a half left or something to go in that game, so it shouldn't be too long.
It's like 13 minutes, so I mean it's something that's not long at all. But at the same time, if they maintain the way that we know that they can, they get it.
Yeah. Could be interesting for sure.
If Jackson can't come back and finish that game, does Sam get a save in that situation? That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see.
Sam leads the MO WIFF history and saves with 4.
Hey, the way the Mamba's been pitching lately, with Caden coming in closing these games, he might have 4 saves this year.
He had an opportunity for a second one this week, and they chose to stick it out, and unfortunately that kind of bit him in the butt. Throwing the 56 and under pitch, but hey, the opportunities are there.
So, quick couple details that I pointed out, and I mean, the Mambas have the highest run differential in the entire league at +8, but they're 3rd in the division right now.
I think a big part of that was they got was that they get that off John? Was that last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was his first start. That's tough. Coming into them, but they took advantage and really pumped up that run differential record by scoring a bunch of runs. But also their pitchers have been lights out. Keeping very limited damage in these games, especially come like extra innings. They've been in extra innings multiple times and only given up 1 run or 2 runs. So keeping those games close, which keeps that run differential low, even in big situations.
Yeah, for sure. The Mojo, the early season struggles of the Mojo, and I'm going to say early season just because I think they've kind of turned the corner because they put the bats to the ball this past week here. Summer's almost here, so that means Gus is days away from being here as much as he can. So what does he being in that lineup and being on the mound, how does that change for them and everything? So that's going to be kind of a thing to put a pin in to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we still got to get Gus here. He's not living here. Even
right.
In seasons past, he's only here a couple of weeks out of the season anyway when he makes that travel. So that will be interesting to see how often he can still get here, and when he does, it's going to be huge for them because not only do they need that extra arm, with Connor missing some time, and who knows when he'll be back? He could surprise us at any time. You never know with Jackson. Even Sam said it himself. It's does Jackson even make it back to that game where we make it up when he's pitching? So the Mojo definitely, need guys there. They can't just rely on Sam. He had a good bounce back week, even though he gave up a 3-run homer in the first inning. But after that kind of settled in, they need those secondary arms to be there for Sam. That propels them far into the season and stays within that divisional lead chase.
For sure. I agree with that. The Kings. I think, and I mean, maybe I'm a homer because, I love those boys. They all got a special place in my heart. But I think that they've looked a lot better than what their record dictates. 3-4,
100%.
7 points. They've scored 15 runs, which would be the highest in the National League. If they were in the National League, it would be the highest. So just that's put a pin in that. They've given up 19 runs there. Obviously that's not ideal, but it is what it is. But I mean, dude, they've hung in some games. They've had some of the most entertaining games to me all season.
Yeah, so I'll say, we got to face the Kings a couple weeks ago, and I faced them on the mound, and I'll tell you, like, dude, this lineup, it's not a joke. They've scored 15 runs for a reason, because when you look at that lineup, they have a guy that can beat you in any spot. No one was really an easy out, and we weren't saying that about the Kings last year, but
Right.
every single one of them, I was like, oh, all right, I can't really take a pitch off. They're all taking good swings. They all look comfortable. They are proving that all that work that they put in the off season is paying off,
For sure.
and it's top to bottom. Even Drew Ballman stepping in his first series looked very comfortable, which I thought it might take him some time. Not being used to our bigger bats, but no, he even just when he wasn't getting hits, he still looked comfortable. He was still making contact, swinging at good pitches. That's a big plus for them. And not to mention that Nick Bone has missed a lot of
Yeah.
games so far with his schedule, and he's arguably their best hitter.
Yeah.
Like it's impressive what they've done, and not even being at full strength. But I'm very excited about this team. I'm very high on them, especially after facing them. Wish we could have stole that second game in extra innings. I mean, we were maybe like a hand length away from me robbing that grand slam in extras, but I mean, they've absolutely been an under the radar team that is exceeding expectations here early on.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the Archers, as advertised. I mean, that's the only note I have. That is a team where you can't give up. That is the true definition. There is no easy out. I mean, even though that Klein he's starting to put the ball in play a little bit. Maybe he's not hitting the way he wants to yet, but still, it's just one swing of the bat that changes everything.
Yeah, I think for me with the Archers, looking forward for the rest of this division, if I had to pick a favorite, I think they would be my favorite pick, only because we know they have the bats, and their pitching has been phenomenal. Klein is the real deal. We all knew that going in, but Drew Mowers looked really good. I think he even said it himself. He surprised himself by how hard he was throwing. He's like, I've never thrown this hard. I think once he kind of reins that in a little bit and starts locating a little bit more, which we saw in that last game that he pitched, he had a little bit of trouble with the walks and then kind of dialed in. Dude, sky's the limit for him, and not having to be a number one. You're number two, or really kind of even your number three, just throwing over 90. That's pretty good. And then, they had the 2-game slide against the Purge, but they've shown that they can bounce back. And, Rory made a great call by moving Jay Rich back to the 3-hole. He immediately hits another home run. So, I mean, that's like one of the biggest surprises, from my book. You guys talked about it in the preseason player rankings, that episode that we did with the called the Fixer, or what was that called?
I don't remember. The Shredder.
The Shredder.
Our Shredder.
Had Jay Rich as one of the top 15 players because of his bat, and we all were kind of like, it didn't really pass the eye test. Yeah, well, damn, was your Shredder right and we were wrong? Jay Rich has come out and he's proven that he's the top hitter in this league.
And dude, the competitive nature of that team, they're there to have fun. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
you can shoot the shit with the best of them, but when it's game time and it says play ball, nope, you are enemy number one. And I mean, it is. Absolutely. We've already played that. We've already played that series against them. That was entertaining. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and I think it's all happening. It's all happening without Tony leading that charge offensively.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
and
when he starts going,
got on the board.
Yeah. And when he starts going, what's it going to be like?
Yeah, that makes it scary. But yeah, I mean, I got to face them next week, and I don't know. It's going to be tough. I have a decision that I have to make because it's Skibby weekend as well. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to it.
So let's pick. Who would you say that is your favorite right now in the American League division to win this division 6 weeks
Hey,
in?
I'm gonna go the Archers for sure. Like I just think I think they have the pitching to do it. I think they have the lineup to do it as well. Not saying that any one of these teams can't do it. I just think with Klein at the helm, it's hard to beat him on on top of their lineup. So until somebody does it, I mean, I've seen it in the past, but it's always in tournaments. You know, when he's on his third and fourth game is when he's starting to lose games. When I was only gonna throw one game a night, it's
Yeah.
just hard to do. So I mean, I think that you know, if Connor Jason was a full time guy, you know, maybe the mojo is there, but I think they have the top pitcher right now in the division and quite possibly the league. So, and Rory being one of the best hitters,
Yeah.
you know, the guy's not striking out, the guy's making contact on everything. I, I, if I was a betting man, I am, but not here. I would put money on the Archers for sure.
Yeah. I picked the Archers as well. I think that it's just going to be one of those things to where, it's. I don't think we've seen them at full speed yet. I mean,
Yeah,
that's scary, and that's scary to me that we haven't seen him at full speed yet. Because I think once Tony gets his legs underneath him, and he starts hitting the ball again, I don't think Jay Rich is going to let up, and we didn't know for damn sure Rory isn't going to. But when these
correct.
kids start hitting, and it's just going to be one of those things. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, Rory's making some good decisions with his lineup too, keeping
Yep.
it simple, keeping it. Hey, we're trying. I know we have, seven guys here, but we're trying to win games, and this is the lineup we're going with. We'll switch it game to game, and guys will get their opportunities. But I'm trying to win each and every single game. So he's
Yeah.
hats off to him. He's doing a great job. I
For
think
sure.
the bigger question with the American League is who finishes last, and
I don't want to answer that question. I don't really
I
know.
mean, exactly. It's so hard to do because I truly don't know. All three of these teams are are good.
Right.
It's almost impossible. Like if we had a three-sided quarter, go ahead and flip that, and good luck.
Right. A three-sided quarter. I like it.
I mean, that's the only way to do it with these. I mean, these three teams each and every
That's
week.
true. That's true. I mean, the funny thing is I look at it and I mean, yeah, we can say the Archers right now. It's easy to say that.
Yeah,
But let's just say the same thing that happened last year happens again this year. And the
yeah,
Kings go on that week after week after week after week, that month long run like they did last year. How does this division go?
yeah.
I
And
made the
you
comment.
could easily see that.
Yeah. I made the comment saying that this year was not going to be a marathon. It was going to be a sprint. Well, the American League division's proven me wrong. This is going to be a marathon. This
Yeah, absolutely.
this division for sure is going to be the marathon. And I mean, it's as it stands right now, it's looking like the mild powerhouse division out of the two. When on paper, we thought the National League was going to be better than what the American League would be this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very impressive what they can do, and despite the four losses, I think Wheeler has three on the mound. That's rough because if you look at three losses, you're thinking maybe that's out of what 7 games they played, that's pretty rough, especially when he's raced. But it's like he's losing 1-run games. Like this guy's the real deal. I mean, when he was pitching against us, dude, he was hitting every single corner, and just one pitch got away from him. That's all it took, and
Yeah,
he could easily step up and be that guy. All right, I'm done giving up runs. Now it's time to lock in. Like he's like, dude, this is his first year. He's only going to get better.
yeah, he's 1-3 with a .59 ERA,
Yeah, that's incredible.
and I
That's
mean, with
unfortunate. Like
40
it
with
sucks,
43
but
strikeouts.
yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely one of the top pitchers in the league right now. It's very impressive what he's done. But credit to the Kings though, they're
Yeah,
still in this despite that,
yeah,
and that says a lot. And that is scary because when you have a guy that's throwing that well and he eliminates those one mistakes to two mistakes to Cole and
yeah,
a hit and head pitch, like you eliminate those, all of the sudden
yeah.
it's a whole different game.
Oh yeah, I
And
mean, hell, I mean, if Ethan doesn't, swing the way he does, that's his natural path, right? Let's go.
yeah,
That is what it was, you know, but that doesn't happen. And like you said, he gets, the pitch he made to Cole on Thursday, the Cole Park. That's okay. That one, you need to pitch a better location than that to Cole. But
yeah,
that first one, Cole went out there and got it. So
yeah,
it's like one of those things. It's like it's just going to be that learning piece for him. And I mean, we know he's a smart kid. We know he's a smart guy. He's going to get it figured out. And I mean, I think for years to come, he's going to make that Kings pitching staff
yeah.
be
Oh, for sure.
pretty damn good.
And at this rate, no credit, like nothing taken away from Josh. Like, dude, Cole's gonna at this rate, Cole's gonna do that to everyone in this league.
Yeah, yeah. 100.
There's a reason. There's a reason he was like, he had like 3 or 4 walks against me. I did it on purpose. I'm not giving him anything.
Maybe
No
that's just
every other pitcher.
and hell, maybe. But here's the thing: Chandler's hitting up behind him, and Chandler's smashing the ball.
And
So,
that's another crazy thing that doesn't show up in the stats is like, dude, Chandler has been robbed of a couple of hits. His stats look way worse than what he's actually producing on the field because he is smoking the ball.
Yep.
And yeah, look out. They're a great hitting team all around. So that's why it's so hard to pick because every single one of these teams has a deadly lineup, has a guy that can shut you down. And I mean, like Dutton, he's 3-0 on the mound, and he's what 0.36 ERA.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got a guy, and everyone's got a lineup, and Mambas might have the scariest lineup in the league with those two, and Caden, the way Caden said.
Yeah. So let's move it over to the National League now. Your Bombers are sitting at the head of the table right now, 4-1, followed up by the Purge at 5-3, and then you got my Thunderbirds at 2-3, and the Melonheads are at 0-3. Biggest surprise for me is the Melonheads are not the Melonheads we know that they're going to be, right? I'm not saying that they're going. I'm not saying that they're going to 100% flip this around and make a run.
Correct.
But I think that they're going to get to a point to where they can be dangerous any night of the week, and you need to watch out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the story with them is how do they get back on track? And I think it starts on the mound. Jordan has got to be Jordan. Like that, I don't think there's any way around it. Like I said earlier, every guy has a guy that can shut any team down. Jordan's got to do that again. Jason's looked really good in his 4 innings. 4 innings, no runs, but realistically, how far does that get you?
Correct.
Like, can he replicate that each week, or does he kind of fall back to the Jason of old or Jason of last year, where he's a good pitcher, but he's not one of the top pitchers. Just throw as hard. But like I said, Jordan, we got to see Jordan on the mound to get them back in. They need Ryan O'Rear there at the plate. I know this team can hit. I mean, and they've only played 3 games. So, like, I'm not hitting the panic button if I'm them right now, especially with kind of how this division has
started
out so far. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely opportunities, and which, like, you said Melonhead's the biggest surprise. I would also say, based on preseason, is the Bombers sitting at 4-1 is a pretty big surprise as well. Not in my eyes, but like looking at it from an outside perspective, is no one was really putting us in this position at this spot in the year.
Well, we'll touch that base here with that. The Purge, the first team to 5 wins in the league. PB's more dialed in than we've ever seen him before. Now, obviously, he's only in his 2nd season. Don't get me wrong, but we got to see a fair amount of Pat, last year, to where now it's just like I've made the comment, he's, filled out a little bit more, got a little bit stronger, kind of learned, the way he needed to do things, learned his arm angle, got his mechanics right, and just those simple little tweaks and turns, he's scary to go against. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he looks really good. It's unfortunate, that he lives in Florida
Right.
and he's got to miss time. And I think that's hurt the Purge, the past 2 weeks. We talked about it going into the season. The Purge had 4 number one arms. Well, now one of them is back in Florida. One of them is kind of dealing with some shoulder injuries. And then Blake just had a baby. So
Yeah.
they've had some unfortunate timing issues where you have to now rely on your 5th pitcher and a guy who's not really used to the style. It's very new to him, and it showed a little bit. He definitely improved in his last start. This is John Citrowski. I mean,
Yep.
take away the 3-run first inning, and it wasn't all bad, but if they have all those guys here for every game, I think they're sitting at a little different record than 5-3.
Yeah.
But
Oh, 100%.
Colin looks really good behind Pat, and
yeah,
they definitely still have it.
Hard to say the timely hitting of Zach Gunn and Colin Wilkerson, and then you can't forget about Tom. Unfortunately, Tom has not unfortunately, but fortunately for them, Tom has had great at bats where he's put bat to ball and not just little dink or dunk hits. I mean, he hit the home run against the Thunderbirds to win that ball game. That was the winning run. He smoked a double down the line. He's swinging a hot bat too. He's taking great at bats, except for that one. Damn.
Yeah. Greg's hitting the ball well too. He's seen it. Colin, like you said, I mean, he's looked very comfortable. He looks dialed in. Like it's a whole different Colin this year.
Yeah.
Pat's been huge at the plate too. I mean, the guy, he was hitting everything. Like he was producing a lot for them at the plate. So that's also another thing that they're going to miss while he's gone. But I mean, top to bottom, when they have a full roster at the field, they are a very scary team.
For sure. So that brings us to your Bombers. Note I made, you guys are finding a way to win. I mean, in all reality.
We did skip over your team too. But
do what?
We did skip over your team.
I'm not going in any order. I was literally making if my list was in no way, shape, or form made in any order at all, I was just making it as I was thinking.
Love it. All right, let's go.
But no, fine. You guys are finding a way to win. You guys have the only positive run differential in division so far at +3.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the way that our cookies crumbled. But the thing that's impressed me is the fact that last year where your boys were a little bit more free swingers, and when I say your boys, we're talking Dwyer, Gunn, Johnny Gunn. They're taking a little bit more patient at bats. You're still, I'm not going to necessarily say trying to find it, but you're one hit away going on a run. Ethan's got his head in the game more than anybody else right now. So I mean,
especially after his Mall tournament. Like I was watching a couple games, watching his at bats against some of the top pitchers in the country, and I'm like, all right, cool. Ethan he's right there. He is, and he's getting more at bats than anyone. It's frustrating for me that I'm not producing the way I want to be producing. But then again, I look at like my on base percentage, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still on base. I'm still helping the team. I'm still producing in spots. I just need to figure out, right? Like I'm seeing the ball so well, I'm just not hitting the ball hard. When I make contact, I'm like just missing it and hitting a little dinker ground ball. But I always kind of do this. This is kind of my like it's like Groundhog Day every single year. I cannot hit the ball in the beginning of the season. I'm hoping to just get to SWBO weekend, get a bunch of reps, get my at-bats, and then come back and start hitting the ball like I normally do. So, I'm not worried. I'm not panicking. What's great is I love what the other guys are doing too. Jake has been Jake, and he's been looking really comfortable at the plate. And then, Tommy and Johnny both are making my job very hard. They both, the numbers might not be there, but they're both taking really good at bats, and I can tell they're just missing. They're right there too. So I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we've kind of gone with a 4-man lineup this year, and like that is
you're one of the only teams to do it.
Yeah, and we just feel like that gives us the best opportunity to win, and we're really trying to win. And now we're in a spot where we want to go for it and really kind of hold this division lead, and that's the best way for us to do so. It gets more guys bats, and what's great is the team is bought into it. Instead of, hey, 5 guys are going to hit, it's 4 guys are going to get hits, and we might switch off games 1 and 2 with that 4th hitter, but they're still going to get a lot more at bats in that game instead of shorter, like less at bats in one game. So it's still working out for us, and our pitching has kept us in every game. I think a lot of people forgot about Johnny and his pitching, and obviously only 1 start so far this year. Yeah, but he looked very, very good. Even it doesn't extra any games and gives up 0 runs. That's impressive. Tommy looked fantastic in his game. Despite a couple home runs that almost weren't home runs.
Right.
I was very impressed, and I said that going into the season. I trusted these guys to do that, and I'm very happy with what's folded out so far.
For sure. So that'll take us to my Thunderbirds. Bats need to come alive. We're taking good at bats. There's been some crazy swings out there, but we've seen some of the best overall pitching so far, I think. So far in the season. So, our first 3 games were against the Purge, and we had to go Pat, Caleb, Colin. And then guess who's next? The Archers and James Klein and Drew Maurer. And it's like, oh, come on. It's like, come on, we need a break. And I mean, the break doesn't come. The break's not going to come, right? Yeah. So it's going to be one. And then our next one's against you. Then 6 o'clock games against you. And then obviously, we got whoever you're going to throw a game to, whether it's Johnny or, Tommy. So, however that goes. So,
yeah. It's my take on you guys is when you face good pitching like that early on in the season, it only makes you better going forward. You want to see those guys early on, and even if it puts you in a little bit of a hole, at least now you know where you're at, and you're already at an advantage. Sometimes it almost hurts you to face a guy who may not throw as hard and gives up a bunch of runs or walks a lot of guys because you can't dial in at the plate. You're not going to get any better that way. It's just going to throw off your timing. But no, you guys are really seeing the best of the best, which makes it even scarier for when Brody gets here. And I know I saw on Instagram that his BLW season is over, which I also think that means his baseball season is over with his post, which means when does he get here? And that is a whole different story.
He is en route. Like in a couple days, he'll be en route. But he's going to spend some time with the family that he hasn't got to see for a while. He is.
Yeah, Brian's pulling everyone's leg, and he's going to be there on Thursday. We're expecting it.
I literally asked him, how's he going to feel? I asked him straight up. I go, so are you excited to get up here and see your moms and see your girlfriend? Because his girlfriend lives up here in O'Fallon. Yeah. He's like, dude, he goes, I'm going to be literally shaking. And I was like, that's what's up. Is Brody going to make his debut this weekend or this week? We'll find out, right?
Yeah, we're betting on it. We're prepared for it. That's to say the least.
I mean, we might as well just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. It's you versus Brody, game 1 at 6 o'clock.
There you go. All right. See, look at that. See, we're smarter than that. We know.
No, it's literally. I knew once he put those posts out there that everybody's going to pick it up. But it wasn't so much it wasn't going to be a hidden secret, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting to get him here. Obviously, he's still rook, still going to be a rookie. But we're going to throw feet to the fire and we're going to see what he's got. So
yeah, no, it's going to be fun. I love that. I'm excited for it. I love the challenge. I love, me, I'm a competitor, so I love that. So, great insight. If you listen to the pod, look at that, bang.
Yeah. But no, I mean it'll be that, and then our next 3 games are against each other. So I mean we
Yeah.
might
Well,
well
I
we might.
have 2 games in between.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's right. We
Yeah.
have a week off.
I have
We
the
get that week
Archers.
off. But my next 3 games, the Thunderbirds' next 3 games are against you, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see how this goes, right? So I
That
mean,
could change this whole division too. Like
oh,
those are, especially with me facing the Archers 2 games there. Like I have, you know, that's 5 really tough games coming up in a row for us. So, uh, we're 4-1 right now, and we really got to keep that pedal down if we want to hold this lead, because can't take a night off, can't take a game off, especially against really any team.
right.
So,
But I mean, ultimately, I think we don't know exactly, how's it going to mesh, right? This is going to be like opening day, for Brody in our lineup. So how does it mesh? Do I think it's going to mesh well? Yes, obviously. I don't
yeah,
think it's going to be anything bad, but like he said, he's still a rookie. He still needs to cut his teeth, and we're going to go trial by fire, and there we go.
yeah, absolutely.
Obviously BLW is their play style is a little bit different, but Brody lives and loves for the fast pitch. So that's
Exactly.
what we got.
No, Sean,
So,
it'll be a great matchup. Everyone's going to want to tune in for that one for sure.
so I'm going to ask the question now:
Send it.
which team wins this division, Cam?
I mean, I'm biased. It's going to be
Yeah,
us, but if I take myself out of it, because like
that's
when
what I was
I'm
going
not
to do. I was
when
going
I'm
to
the
take myself.
podcast host, I like to take my team out of it because that it's always a cop out answer. Everyone knows you're going to pick yourself.
Right.
Um, Man, it is tough, especially if you guys getting Brody back. Um, I think now that the Purge are going to start getting Blake Hoffman back, or I guess
Yeah.
not back, but here for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think Caleb's okay. I think he could have pitched. I think Tom was just being more cautious.
Yeah.
I think they're sitting at a great spot right now already with 5 wins. I know they've played more games than everybody, but I think they could definitely have a shot. But I think it'll be close. But I would pick the Purge. They've done it last year, and what really impresses me the most about them is that their bats have really exceeded expectations more than anyone would have thought. And
That's
I
true.
think that gives them the edge.
Yeah.
They will missing Pat though definitely hurts, and you guys getting Brody definitely makes that a little bit different. And don't count out the Melonheads; they're still the Melonheads, but I think it'll be I'll give the Melonheads some fuel, and I'll say it's going to be between the Purge and the Thunderbirds, with the slight edge to the Purge.
Got you. Yeah. I mean, Pat is going to probably be back in their next game. That's May 29th. They're playing that single week. So, I mean, that's, schools should be out then. Does he make it back for that series, or is it 2 weeks later, against the Kings? I mean, it's potentially there. I wanted to pull up the schedule and take a look at it. Um, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, remove myself from it. And I think it's going to end up being, it could be the Purge, just because of that fact of getting Pat back and getting Blake,
Yeah,
Caleb coming back healthy, you know, he's getting married any day now, right? The nuptials,
yeah,
that stuff's over with. That mild stress of that trip is over. Um,
correct. That helps.
Coming back, the shoulder obviously is fine. He said it's fine, right?
Yeah,
But obviously you got the lead that they had. Why not? Why risk it?
correct.
100%. I agree with that because once that pitching staff's full, I think arguably it could be the overall best pitching staff that we have in the league.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Top to bottom for sure. I don't like no one has like 4 guys like that. I mean, a lot of us have 2 or 3.
right?
But it's hard to have 4 that are that good, especially with the way that Pat and Colin are throwing right now. That's hard to beat. That's a hard 1-2 to beat.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that'll do it for our first segment here. So we will be right back with our hitters and pitchers of the week. So stick a tune.
Amen.
Ooh, big swing and a miss there for the strikeout. That'll be. Ooh, swing and a miss, and Hitchcock goes down for out number. Here comes pitch number 1. Ooh, big swing and a miss for strike 3. Big swing there for strike 3. It goes up like that. Your just heart sinks. It doesn't drop in on you. Another big swing there, and that'll be a swing and a miss. Be out number 2. Ooh, pumps in there for strike 3 and blows it by him. Welcome back to the second segment of the 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. Joining us now is this week's Buffalo Wild Wings pitcher of the week, earning the W for his Mambas. Team going 3 strong innings with 6 strikeouts, only giving up 1 earned run on 1 hit. It's actually the first hit you're giving up all season. Do you know that?
I did know that, but one of the rookies mentioned that before the game, and I was like, you son of a bitch, dude, you can't mention it until it's done.
But anyways, you're 3-1 on the season with a 0.36 ERA and third in strikeouts with 35. Welcome, Mr. James Dutton.
Brian, thank you so much for having me. If you want, you can go with the nickname Adequate Game James. I feel like that's about where I'm at here on the season so far, but
Adequate game?
Adequate Game James. It feels Big Game James is way too much. I'm not James worthy. I don't deserve that. Adequate Game is I think acceptable.
Well, you know what? You've been pretty damn good this year so far. So you know what? I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, bud. But no, man, what's been up? How you been?
I've been great. I mean, working like crazy, trying to stay in shape. Trying to make sure I'm not exhausted come Thursday when Wiffle Ball rolls around. I got motivated by Spencer last week, and I'm like, Jesus, am I even lifting enough? Like, this guy's all over the place. I want to see his full on, exercise segment or whatever as part of the podcast materials. I think it's been a great start to Wiffle Ball so far. Been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. It's Spencer Foss. That's what you're talking about. It's Foss's, right? Routine. Do you watch his videos on Instagram?
No, I'm not really a social media person. So
if you ever get the chance to, don't. It make you feel bad about yourself.
Okay.
Like
I talked it through with him, but I says me, Jason, and Spencer talking before the game, and he was like, "You actually do a leg day before pitching?" And Spencer was like, "Absolutely." And Jason and I both being over 30, we're like, "Hey man, no shot. I need to make sure that I do absolutely nothing on game day, just so I'm not absolutely exhausted by the time it rolls around."
Dude, I remember before I got my riding lawnmower on game day, if I had to cut grass, I'd just wait. Because of my push mower. Nope, I'm not wearing myself out.
I lifted on game day one time, and that was the first game of my very first season, and my arm hurt for 3 weeks. Luckily, we had like that double bye week, and I was like, never again. I am not touching a weight if we have a game day.
Well, so let's get into it, man. I mean, walk me through that start the other night. Obviously it was a beautiful Thursday, and then it's Thursday, so it poured down rain in between the second and third game before your guys' series. With all that craziness, we talked, are we going to play? Are we not going to play? How do you stay ready and focused and ready to go? I mean, because it was a quick turnaround time. When we said, yo, we're going to play, you guys were ready to go in 7 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm. The whole day was wild, right? So I woke up and it was pouring. So first thing you do as a wiffle ball player, you check your weather app, and it looked like it's like 70% chance of raining all day. And I was like, geez, I wonder if Cole's going to text us at noon and say game's off. By about 10 a.m., it was like, hey guys, it's not raining the rest of the day, right? So I'm like, cool. Mentality is we are 100% playing. Get to the park. It's possibly the most gorgeous day we've had all season. I mean, there's barely a wind. It's sunny. Everything is fantastic. By the end of that first game, we looked and it's like, oh, there's a rain cloud, but it was to the east of us. So we're like, it's not going to come this way. It's starting to develop, but it's east. Next thing you know, it's actually going counter to your normal weather pattern. It's coming east-west right at us. And we're like, what in the world is happening? And to your point, you're like, it's just that MO WIFF magic. If it's a Thursday, you best believe there's going to be some rain. And the next thing you know, I'm trying to get some warm-up pitches in. I'm like, these are some fat raindrops coming down. Like, I don't want to mess anything up during the warm-up. So I kind of got into the dugout, and by the time I got there, it was pouring for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was nuts. We're all huddled in the dugout, and what was it, like four teams all huddled in one dugout, and then one team out there just by themselves in the other dugout. All the mojo out there spread out nice and everything.
Yeah, the mojo were smart being the only team in one dugout versus everyone else in our dugout. But I mean, as far as like staying warm, I just made sure to throw on like all the gear I had. It kind of sucked because it was muggy, it was warm, but I wanted to just make sure my body didn't cool off with a little breeze coming in. So I threw my jacket on, threw on some sweatpants, just kind of kept stretching. The issue is it's just hard to keep the body loose when there's that many people that close to you. You can't really run around. You can't start working on the bands or anything. Like, you just kind of have to do your best to keep yourself warm. So you try to jump in place or whatever, do pretend jump rope. And And mentally, I until they said the game was off, I was just assumed I was pitching. I think that's the best thing you can do, right? Don't ever have that thought creeping like, oh, we're not playing, or even debate like, oh, I don't want to play, right? It's just gotta be, hey, I am pitching, period. Doesn't matter what's gonna be, and just kind of roll with it. And I think that was my first kind of bad weather game. It wasn't fun. The ball didn't move the way I wanted it to. You know, it was really one heck of a battle. But I mean, I think it affected everyone the same. And you know, every pitcher I talked to said the kind of same thing. Like, damn, my ball's not moving the way I want it to, but you're just trying to figure, you know, make it work out.
Yeah, I think you and Wheeler, it's clear that it took you guys a second to get going, but once you guys got going, you got going. So you talked about your being adequate, you know, and everything earlier on. How do you feel about your seasons going so far off the mound? You know, you're 3-1 with a 0.36 ERA, 14 innings pitched, only giving up 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned, while striking out 35.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be harder on myself than anyone else, right? I'm sure Cole would be mad for me even being like upset with that start to the season. And mine's more so I don't feel like I've located it the way I've wanted to. I look at WHIP a lot more than ERA. You know, I tried to give Wheeler some encouragement after our first game of the season. I said, hey man, sometimes a walk is better than giving up that home run, because that's the only reason we beat the Kings the first game, right? He had 1 bad screwball against Cole. Cole takes it yard. We win 1-0. Right. So in general in our league, giving up a walk's not the end of the world. The issue is I've had too many of those innings where there's like 2 walks, maybe that 3rd walk, and that's just not where you want to be. I'm comfortable giving up 1 walk an inning because that, you know, kind of keeps people on their toes. If you're exclusively throwing strikes, they're going to swing at everything, and that's not what I want to happen. I want them kind of guessing when they're at the plate. But I'd like to be a little bit more under control. You always want to have at least 1 pitch you know you're going to throw for a strike. And this week it was just tough, man. I think the only pitch I felt confident throwing for a strike was the 55 and under, unfortunately. But luckily that, you know, that got me enough outs and it kept us in it.
For sure, man. I call it the effectively wild. You know, when you're talking about you don't want to throw too many strikes because, you know, hitters are going to hit strikes. But if you can keep it outside the zone or right outside the bat path or whatever, you know, that's where it's at. So you'll hear that on my call, you know, that's an effectively wild pitch. You know, when it misses by like that much.
So the effectively wild's awesome when they're swinging, right?
Yeah.
But when they're not swinging, right? And you're to your point, you're missing the zone by that much. You're like you have to kind of get out of your own head. It's like you almost think like, did someone kick the strike zone? Like, why am I missing it by half of a wiffle ball at most? Like the ball just wouldn't move. And then occasionally you'll get the one that cuts really hard. So I'm, you know, kind of a slider riser pitcher, and the slider just wasn't hooking much all night. And then finally I have a perfect one and it hooked past the zone. And I was just like, all right, like, I mean, come on, you got to be kidding me. Like, I threw one to the left. Like this is ridiculous. But no, honestly, it reminded me a lot. I don't know if you remember last year, the game we had against the Mojo. It was maybe a 1-0 game the whole time. Cole hits a home run to put us up 3-1. And then I came into that last inning and I walked a bunch of guys and we ended up losing 4-3 off of I think a skibby triple. So I was really proud of myself that even though it wasn't, I think, my best night, that I was able to buckle down and just when we needed it, just kept, you know, the strikes, even if it was 55 and under, you know, whatever it took just to make sure we still got the win. So I was very happy with that. You know, as hard as on myself as I'll be for walking a lot of guys, I at least kept us in the game. And that was the most important part.
I mean, you only had 3 walks there, so walk an inning. I mean, there's your average.
Well, yeah, but how many 55 and under strikeouts did I have? Like 4?
Well, I don't 4 or 5. Yeah. So I wish our stats would break that down, but it doesn't. That'd be fun to see. But no,
I think I got minimum 4. I might have got 6 outs on a 55 and under pitch.
Hey, probably say you'd rather be the one getting the outs and not being the out, right?
It feels a lot better.
I'm not going to harp on that. You got enough slack there. But no, man, I mean, the addition of Caden Rice and Chandler Melton being able to join the pitching staff here. You know, last year it was roughly just you, O'Rear, Cole. Now you've added arms, you know, and, you know, Chandler and Caden that have kind of taken up that mantle a little bit. How's it feel? How's it feel to kind of have that dynamic you guys got going?
Honestly, I think in the whole, we had a fantastic draft. Every rookie we brought on, like those guys are fantastic. I mean, the way those guys hit the ball, oh my God, did they smoke the bait or the wiffle ball? And then you get Caden out there on the mound, and I mean, he has so much movement. Honestly, his pitches remind me a lot of O'Rear. He kind of has that sweeping kind of screwball. He's got a heck of a riser. But I mean, he pipes the zone. So, you know, I trust him. Like Cole came to me after the third inning, he said, "Hey, I think I'm going to go to Caden. Like, you've already thrown a lot of pitches. Let's just see if he can close it out. We're up 4." And I was like, "You do it." Like, right. I mean, I have full faith in him. We've seen him enough that it's awesome having one, a rookie that does that, and two, for Cole to have just such a young guy doing that. You have to feel great being a Mamba. Having those guys on the team.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about the hitting right now, but I don't think there's anybody else in the league right now that's been robbed of as many home runs as between Caden and Chandler have so far this year. It's nuts.
I don't know if we got robbed one time last year, and we've had 2 in the first 3 weeks.
That the play that Dobb made, I'm sorry, that's hats off, man. That's hats off.
The whole Kings team, let's not mistake it, right? The game was a 5-1 game, but it realistically was a 2-1 because Cole hit the free bases loaded grand slam. The Kings could have gave up 3 or 4 more runs, but those guys were making plays all over the place. We had Keller, who last week had that rough, break with the kind of bobbled home run. This week was sticky hands, right? I mean, he was diving all over the field, and fantastic. Your hats off to those guys. Those guys were making plays in hard conditions because that ball was skipping all over the place. It was sliding off of the ground. It was not conducive to fielding a clean ground ball.
Oh, hell no. It would look like an ice rink out there, dude. It looked like you put a beach ball in an ice rink, and you hit something that skips the way it does. It's nuts. So you get 2 weeks off now.
I think we have one. I thought we're just one, right? We're on 5/19.
Oh.
We go off game, single game, and then off all of June.
Hey, you guys made you guys don't play again until 22nd?
That's
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. No, 22nd. Sorry, I'm thinking of this as game week. My bad. We have 10 calendar days until we play.
10 calendar days.
My bad. Yes, we are off this week. That's
you guys don't play again until week 9 or week. Week 8. You guys don't play again until week 8. There.
Yeah.
So, what you got the Melonheads up next.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to kind of prep for that lineup that's probably due to unload?
Yeah, so that Melonheads team is fantastic, right? And honestly,
on paper,
don't say just on paper, guys. Slow start, whatever. That team's good. Every league, every team in this league is good. I think it's a testament to what Cam has done as commissioner to kind of spread the reach of MO WIFF, because every year we just keep loading up with more and more talent. It's been so impressive to see how every team is so good. My first year, it was really a league of the aces play game 1, and the second game it's kind of like anything happens, we don't really know. Not every team really had a number 2, and then this year it's like teams can reach their third guy and feel confident they're all giving up maybe 1 run. So, and that you kind of have to come with the mindset I want to give up no runs because that means we're at least tying. If you have to go to the home run derby, you have to go to the home run derby. But if I'm on the mound, I'd like to give up 0 runs. When you're pitching against Ryan, when you're pitching against Jordan. Jason hits me well. You just have to be prepared that, sometimes things go awry, but trust the fact that Cole is, just smoking the ball right now, that Caden and Chandler are hitting the ball really well and just do what we can. But I think as long as I come out, throw strikes and play my game, I'll put us in a pretty good spot. And that's kind of the goal anytime you touch the mound, right? You seem to go in 5 innings. And if I can go 5 innings and not give up a run, then I like our chances.
For sure, man. Yeah. Speaking of Cole, 7 games, 533 batting average, slugging 1.333, on base percentage of 720.
It's insane right now. He's seeing the ball so well.
Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him. But with that being said, we'll be back with our hitter of the week. First off, thanks James. Thank you for joining us today. I know kind of short last minute yesterday with Mother's Day. Everything was, kind of crazy with the weekend and everything, but I do appreciate the short notice and you joining me here for a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
But with that being said, we'll be right back with our Cigar Lounge hitter of the week. And maybe it's somebody we've already been talking about here. So you guys
stick around. Might just be.
We'll be right back. He was swinging on it and swinging on anything there with that pitch. And that'll be a base hit down the first base line. Oh, Cole rips. Oh, Wheeler misses it on the jump. I don't know if he missed it or not, but I mean, he definitely gave every effort he gets. That's a 2-run shot. Just absolutely belted. Belted by Cole Layton to bring this into a 1-run ball game. Joining us now is this week's Lit Cigar Lounge hitter of the week, going 4 for 6 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in his team series against the Kings, batting .533 on the season with 4 home runs, which is tied for first, and leading the league in RBIs with 11. Please welcome back Mr. Cole Layton. What's up, buddy? How you been?
Pretty good, pretty good. Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Coming off of Mother's Day, a little crazy weekend I hear all around for everybody. But I do appreciate the quick
Yeah,
turnaround time and making some time for us here tonight.
yeah, no problem. Happy to take 15, 20 minutes and talk some whiff anytime.
There we go. So walk me through your bets, because I mean, going legitimately 4 for 6. With the rain delay and everything, I know everybody had already warmed up. Then the rain delay, right? How do you keep yourself mentally prepared and ready to go when it's go time?
Uh, that's a great question. I feel like it probably actually helped just kind of like not as nervous and like I think we all expected not to play, looking at the radar once it came through. And then it kind of just like disappeared right away. So, um, it probably almost helped just like not thinking about it too much, just going out there and, having fun, just trusting, what I can do and just trying to do what's best for my team and get on base and, when I get the big spots, try to go for those RBIs and, give us a lead and hopefully, scoring 1 or 2 normally gets us there. So that's always been the goal.
Good deal. Um, Obviously you're absolutely raking this year. So I mean, how do you prep for a season like that? Like, I mean, what could you contribute to your success so far this year?
I guess watching a lot of video. I'd say like in the past, like I've kind of like, I've always watched watched the videos back, the games each week. But I guess I never really like paid that much attention to like the pitchers and like what exactly they throw and things like that. So, yeah, just, going before, that week before knowing who I'm probably going to face, and then just, watching that past game or two that they've thrown a time or two, and just, kind of see where how much their ball moves, looking to see, where they start the certain pitches so I can identify those better. Yeah, just kind of helps them seeing the ball. It looks like a beach ball right now. It's tough to do, and it probably won't last all year. So, trying to take advantage as much as I can.
You don't think you can finish the year over 500, slugging
Uh,
1,033?
yeah, I would, if I'm a betting man, I would say there's no way. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of gotten, a few. I think, you know, playing the Kings a little shorthanded and some injuries kind of helped a little bit there. I don't think I really hit that game. I think there's more walks, but and that rain game probably helped a little bit too, just with you know Wheeler and Hall not probably throwing 100% with the wet conditions and control being a little bit harder, so they probably slowed it down a little bit. So kind of getting a couple breaks here and there, but yeah, I doubt I keep it up. I mean, hopefully, I stay been pretty consistent, staying above, like around 300. So kind of expect it to go down that way a little bit more. 500 would be insane.
500 would be insane. I think that'd be a hell of a milestone. I'm not gonna lie. It's something there that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I don't know what the average, like the best average in the league would be like ever, but I feel like Sam might have got that last year, honestly.
You know what? Let's have some fun, shall we? I got it pulled up right here. We can take a look. Career
I know my
average.
year one was pretty good, actually.
Career average. So everything going on right now, through 87 games, you're batting 329. So
Told you right around that 300 mark, so I expect it to go down a little bit.
that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, Rory's at 307. Ryan O'Rear's at 333. So your old teammates got you by a little
yeah,
bit. Nah, that's okay. He's got a
yeah.
less.
He's probably
He's
got
got games.
a
Yeah,
lot less games.
yeah. There's like 40
Yeah,
something games in between you two. So
yeah.
to kind of speak to it, the top you're obviously leading the league and hitting at 533. The next closest to you is 267. So almost half of what you're doing. And then just to round out the top 10, the number 10 hitter is batting a buck 67. So that just
Mm,
shows the craziness of the start that you're on. So
yikes.
that leads into this. When do you think teams just start pitching around you?
You know, I mean, I kind of feel like they already have a little bit. You know, I got to be up there in walks.
You're
You
leading the league
know,
in walks.
yeah. So, I think it's hard. You know, with my team right now, the way Chandler, Parker's always a solid hitter. I don't know how many hits he has quite yet this year, but he's still dangerous. You can't put it right down the middle for him. Caden's come out strong, especially the past 2 weeks. And Dutton always has that power potential, always putting good swings on it, and Eggert in and out the lineup there with always getting on base as much as he can. So a big part of it's just my team. So if my team keeps getting on, uh, people have to pitch to me. So um, I mean, I feel like a bit major part of the credit goes to them, coming back around that lineup after, I typically walk, I feel like that first at bat. And then if they can get back around me in that first inning, I have a chance to do some damage. So,
For sure. So speaking of the team that you have, I mean, as you said, Caden Rice, Chandler Melton, they're, pounded the ball. Now, some right at people, some damn good defensive plays have been made against them. So,
hmm
take nothing away from the defense, but those boys are putting, in my opinion, I think that they very quickly got it, when it comes to being at the plate here, and catching up to our game and stuff. Are you surprised by how fast they've been able to pick it up? Or do you think that was kind of what your expectations were?
I would say maybe 50-50. Chandler, I kind of knew, just I had seen Chandler play. Like, obviously, we all had video and stuff, but like I had personally seen Chandler play in the tournament. He played in that championship game against us. I think I mentioned this on like our team preview, but like the at bats against Cooper Ruckle were like just kind of mind blowing to me. Like from somebody that hasn't played a ton of like elite fast pitch, like big barrel, 90 plus mile per hour. Um, he looked comfortable in the box. So I kind of felt like he would be pretty solid. Um, you know, I wasn't 100% sure on Caden, so it's been a nice surprise, especially these, I think the first week, or I guess probably first 3 games, he might have struggled, but like the last 2 weeks, man, this guy is like on every freaking pitch. Like it's the swings he puts on it is crazy. But yeah, I mean, Sandler, I think should have like probably 3 more hits. He has
Yeah.
3 balls. I think he has 3 balls he's probably hit harder than anybody has all year so far, and they've been outs.
Yeah.
And then Hayden had a home run robbed last week.
That was a
I
pretty
think he,
that was a pretty play by Dobb
yeah,
running
it,
into
it
the
was
fence with the
it was
wet.
a great play. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was what's crazy about last week too. Like there was, I think we had a decent amount of hits, but there's probably 4 other balls that should have been hits, and in the wet conditions, it was like, oh, let's decide to play the best defense we've ever played on a on a terrible field where you can't even run. So it was crazy.
Well,
Yeah, they've been showing out.
I honestly think on that field when it rains like that, you in your head you feel like oh it's gonna be softer. so you can dive or not be afraid to slide a little bit, on it. Because if it's heat of summer, that's going to eat you up like no other, tear your skin up.
Yeah, that's true. You
So,
can slide a little bit there. So maybe that's what it is, and people have a little softer feet and can be a little more agile, I guess. Trying not to slip.
I called it earlier. It looks like a beach ball hitting off ice and just kind of
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
takes
there
off.
was a few that just like and went crazy. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Oh.
So you guys have been rocking and rolling the last couple of weeks here. Getting yourself, in a good position. I mean, obviously, every team in your division, there's only one game in between you guys from top to bottom. You got 2 weeks off now, or 10 days, as Dutton said earlier. Um, Melonheads are up next. How are you prepping for that series?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a big series, hopefully facing over here if he shows up. Be good to good little matchup there. Hopefully like I said, hopefully he can show up. It's always good, when he's there. One of the best players in the league.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully just the goal is just keep beating down on melon heads. They're I'm sure they are got a little fire under their butts, just being I believe last of the I don't know if the power rankings are out, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
there.
yeah, I believe they got voted last. Did they finally get a win? I think
Nope. They're
they're
0-3.
still winless. 0-3. Yeah, they've only played 3 games. That's right. So, I'm sure they're going to be coming out firing, trying to, show everybody, what they got. So just, yeah, just try to take advantage of, hopefully maybe they're a little rusty just from only playing 3 games and we've played 7. So I'm sure they probably play. I know they play this week, and I don't know if they play the next week, but hopefully, just keep taking advantage of them and try to beat them while they're down is the goal.
For sure. Well, hey man, I mean you guys have been I believe, and I mean, another team, you and the Kings. Believe you guys have played better than what your guys' record shows. You've just played each other, right? So it's kind of, it's hard to show the record and everything, but I've been pleasantly surprised and very happy to admit it that that you guys are definitely a lineup that's not going to want to be seen come playoff time. So, I mean,
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah,
yeah,
we're
sure,
just trying to keep getting wins as much as we can, and yeah, just keep it rolling, get in the playoffs, and anything can happen in the playoffs. So
for sure.
that's what we're trying to do.
Well, hey man, I appreciate your time, on the short notice and everything, be able to spend some time with us tonight. I do appreciate that. But with that being said, we will be right back with our third segment. Cam will be joining me back. We're gonna go preview next week, this coming week, and so stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the third segment of 3 Up 3 Down podcast. I want to start off by thanking the Mambas, Mr. Cole Layton and Mr. James Dutton, for spending some time with us today. I know it's very short notice, gentlemen, and I appreciate you guys like no other, so thank you so much. Um, Again, before we get into this final preview, for this following week, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and smash that bell. That way, whenever anything goes live or anything goes, anything we upload, anything to YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah, make sure you
you'll be
hit the notification bell on all platforms that we Twitch and YouTube especially.
Yeah, especially, game days right now. Twitch isn't working right now for some reason. We're working on that. But hell, if YouTube's continuing to work, we're going to make sure we can get you guys that content, that live content for you, because that's ultimately our goal, is to be live and everything be hunky dory every week. So
Exactly.
make sure you take care of yourself. Don't forget to visit mowiff.com. Where I say our new website, their website's kind of been redesigned a little bit. It's not 100% done yet. So it's, still working on a couple little things, a couple little pages, but it's definitely something to look at, and make sure that you're registering your team for the season, for the 2025 Mo WIFF Classic. Registration is open now. Well, how many teams we got in there so far? We still only got one.
Still only one, but we haven't been posting about it a bunch. But now that summer's here, we're gonna start ramping that up. Expect posts every couple weeks about it. We're gonna start pushing that info out more. I mean, it's at Car Shield Field. You don't want to miss it. It was a great tournament last year. I know it's going to be on Labor Day weekend, which is unfortunate. I know for a lot of guys that, that's kind of the last summer weekend. A lot of people go on vacations, but what better way to spend a whole day playing whiffs at the ballpark, right? Especially at a nice ballpark like that. So definitely one you don't want to miss.
That's totally true. Totally true. But with all that, let's dig into week 7.
Yeah, let's hit it.
So obviously, the first slate of games is Bombers Thunderbirds. As we said a little bit ago, game 1's going to be you versus Brody. So if you ain't got nothing going on Thursday night at 6:00, I'd say come up to the ballpark because that's gonna be a damn good series.
It's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger. Not a burger. It's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be all brakes. It's gonna be all gas, no brakes. That's what it's gonna be. That's the best.
100%. You're gonna see a lot of gas in this game and in this series for sure.
I just don't want to see you throw your arm out and try to do too much. Okay.
I've been fine so far this year. Knock on wood, wherever that's at. I've been blessed with the whole a new feeling this year. I feel like not 100% like the old me. Obviously, got a couple of years on me now, but a little flashbacks to before I really had the shoulder injury, where I'm not having those that pain that I've had for the past 3 to 4 years. So this is very promising. As long as it holds up for the duration of the season, I'm very happy.
Oh man, gotta love age, right?
That's not fun, man. Not fun.
But so that'll be game 1. Obviously, got a lot of firepower there. I mean, one swing of the bat, one check swing. You never know. Just power versus power and a check swing. And the bat makes connection. It might go. But
exactly. It ain't gonna take much.
Second game, I'm assuming we're gonna go Foss versus Johnny. Foss would love to pitch against Johnny, so we can make a gentleman's agreement here to have those two go against each other.
That's the plan right now. I mean, Johnny didn't get his start in our last series. He had NWA opening day coming up, so we gave Tommy the start there. That's why we made that decision. Wanted to get Tommy out there anyway after the ending of his season last year. And he exceeded expectations there, but, it's Johnny's turn. Johnny's going to get the majority of those game 2 starts. So full trust in him, especially after shutting out the Mambas, who have scored more runs than anybody in this league. So
ain't that the truth? So we move on to the second slate of games. Melonheads versus Mojo. Melonheads back at it after they were in week 2, and they haven't played.
I know they had the unfortunate rain out, but now they're back. It's going to be exciting to have all them hooligans back at the park.
Is this something where do we see Bogad come? Do we get to see him kind of make his season debut?
This would be the perfect opportunity against his buddies in the Mojo.
I think it would be. So I think
the last we saw Bogad was wearing a Mojo jersey at the championship series. At the championship series, we haven't seen him since. And he was in the stands in a Mojo jersey.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I'm like, he never played for the Mojo. Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, he didn't play. He was just
didn't play, but he was in that Mojo jersey. But little birdie has told me that El Capitan is going to be on the mound.
Yeah,
for the Melonheads. So I mean,
4 scoreless innings so far. So
yeah. So I mean, let's see if that transitions and that keeps up. Mojo, I would assume we see Sam. That game 1
for sure.
So that's definitely going to be there. Game 2, let's throw darts at a board. Is it Jordan? Is it Bogad? Is it Eichenlob? Is it O'Rear? We don't know who's going to be there to be able to pitch. Is it Jimmy Stout? We never know. We could have
Jimmy
some fun.
Stout. Hey man, I just watched him throw a winner in SWBL for game 1, baby. Let's go.
Hey, so yeah, you never know what's going to happen there. Mojo for game 2. I mean, it's who's there. We don't know.
Yeah, who's there? But let's flip the script. Q versus Jason on the mound in game 1. I want to see it.
Oh,
I'm gonna keep trying to talk this into an existence, especially with Q getting out on the mound. I want to see it. And what better opponent than Jason? Q versus Jason would be an all-time matchup.
Oh God, it would be, but at the same time, it could be so bad. It could
I
blow
mean,
up
he
in their
pitched
face.
well.
It'd be fantastic.
He pitched well last year. Melonheads are 0-3.
You never know, but still,
It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not airing it out. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it could happen.
Realistically, though, Sam will go game 1. If
Right.
not, if somebody else isn't there. So,
Right on.
do we see Jackson in back-to-back weeks? Who knows?
Maybe that'd be fun.
And maybe that's the easiest way, since Jackson, we play again next week. Be here.
Yeah, that might be it. That might be
So,
it. Kind of just build it, just building blocks.
yeah, but I think this week in general is going to really start clearing a path for what we see coming up in the midway half of the season. You know, we're 2 weeks away from our week 9. Everybody plays, and this will kind of set those standings. Melonheads need a win. They need at least one win here. You don't want to fall too far behind. Mojo are trending upwards. You guys are not necessarily, in a bad spot, but
We're
looking
in a
to get those bats.
We're in a comfortable spot. I'll say that.
Yeah, you're just looking to get those bats going. We're looking to stay ahead. Every team here is going to be fighting. All 4 of these games are going to be, I think, good games, especially good games to watch. So
For sure.
if you want to come up and watch, it's even better.
Oh,
We've had a lot of people. We've had a lot of people at the fields this year, so it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, partner, I appreciate you coming on and filling in for Q. Q will be back next week. So, or hopefully, obviously scheduling things. He had something going on today that was way more important than us shooting this podcast. So that's A-okay.
Yeah, and with Mother's Day, it was tough. We kind of put off some of our duties and gave that time. I know me especially is, this weekend I put wiffle ball stuff down and I said, let me take care of the wife. Let me take care of the kids. It's all about them. So that's just one of those things. You got to do it every now and then. It happens.
Yep. Wiffle ball can always take a backseat to family. Family first, always and forever, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You got to. So we do this for fun, and I like kind of on that note too. I know it's been a little stressful at the fields at times with all this. Oh my gosh, this amount of rain every single Thursday, unbelievable. And having softball there beforehand, that was not. This is not supposed to happen. So.
Right.
But I just want to say, thanks to everyone in the league who's helped out, because you guys have really made our jobs a lot easier. We really appreciate the help. All this unforeseen circumstances that has not been fun to deal with, but we've made it work, and we're 6 weeks through and coming up on week 7. Cross our fingers. I don't want to say anything about the weather, but
don't. Dude, just don't. Just don't. Let's just end it. Let's just stop it there.
But no, it's. I'm very excited. Looking forward to this week, and thank you to everyone in the league so far for all your guys' help.
For sure. Well, all right. Well, Q's not here, but I guess he's Cam Smith signing off from Studio 3. I'm Brian Hunter, and peace out from Brian. See you guys next week.
Let's go. Let's go.